Hello, everybody. It's Aaron. Welcome to another episode of Feed the Beast. As you can see, there are no more giant redwood roots in the base. I cleared them all out, and I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at my last episode, and whatever was in the barrels, I gave myself that back. Just like 2 stacks, or I gave myself less than what I had. Maybe that's cheating, I don't know, but I didn't feel like losing all that work or restoring up a backup of the world. So I thought it was okay in this circumstance. So we didn't really end up with more than we had before. So if you have a problem with that, sorry, but pretty soon it's not really going to matter. I've been running the quarry, and if you recall in the last episode, we set up these things to auto pulverize and auto smelt. Well, I think this is just one quarry. I'm not sure. No, this is probably a couple. Either way, we've got plenty of stuff now, and what I want to do is, you see all the applied energistic stuff over here? I want to make a molecular assembler chamber, just like a 2x2, or technically 4x4. I'm not really sure on the dimensions of this, so I would make a 3x3 total, but I don't know if you can make one that small. So I figure what I'll do is I'll make enough to make it 4x4. We'll make a bunch of containment walls. We're going to need a bunch of heat vents, and then 4 CPUs and 4 pattern providers. And the CPUs they're not the most expensive one. They're kind of expensive because they take the advanced processor, but the pattern provider, I always forget what it looks like. Where the hell is it? There are a lot of new things. I don't know what they do. I don't know what the partition editor does. Pattern provider. I'm going to have to make 4 of these, so I'm going to craft this stuff off camera. Somebody left a comment on the last video about me failing at crafting simple recipes, and I'd like to address that right now. I forgot one thing, and A, nothing in AE is simple to craft. It all takes multiple pieces. And B, sorry if you don't like it. I forgot one thing. Deal with it, or, feel free to watch somebody else's Let's Play. I don't really appreciate comments like that. So, if you don't like what I have to say about it, then, I'll live. What are you going to do? I play the game. I make the LP to have fun. And comments like that make me not want to do it anymore. So, if you could, constructive criticism is fine, but I didn't really appreciate the comment. I thought I'd let you know that. I didn't respond via text in a comment just because. So I'm going to craft all of these things that we're going to need, and then I'm only running one biofuel generator on this thing, and we're using 15 units, which is only 3 MJ. It's 5 AE units per MJ and 2 AE units per EU. But since we're using MJ, it's not really that much MJ. So I'm going to see if we can get by with just using this one thing. And the only thing that I pumped in here from the quarry were the ores. I've got we got about a stack of diamonds from the quarry, which seems like a bit much for me. But in my stream world, I'm getting about the same amount. So I don't know if they up the spawn rate or what. So I've got some leftover stuff from last time. So let's clear all this stuff out because we're not going to need any of it. And I will get to crafting, and then I will come back and we'll set up the molecular assembler chamber. We're going to need to make a pattern encoder, which is fairly easy, and then we're going to need to make some patterns, which are also relatively easy. The first thing I always do is teach my molecular assembler chamber how to make more patterns. I think it's kind of funny to have to craft a pattern to to put one in there. So I'm going to get busy on that, and I'll be back with you guys in a minute. And then we will set this thing up, probably just in the floor right here. And then when we run a couple more quarries and have a ton more resources, I'm going to teach all the recipes to make all these things to the system, so that when we want to make more, we can just make more and then expand. So I will be right back after I have crafted all of these things. Hopefully I don't forget something this time. Okay guys, I think I've got everything, and hopefully my math is right. And like I said, we're just going to set this up down below just to get it going, because I need to start auto crafting some things, and disk drives is a big one, storage cells, stuff like that. So we will, I wonder what's, I think there's terrain behind that. So we're going to have to run some ME cable down to where the thing is. Hopefully I should have enough of that. And we're going to need access to this so we can put the patterns in it. I read something a while ago about whoever makes the mod had considered changing it so that if you put an encoded pattern in your system, it would actually go straight to the Mac. And I don't know if that was just speculation or if that was like for real. So we'll just leave a little opening right there. The way this goes, you have to build your frame out of this, kind of like a railcraft tank. Let me pop a torch in here. I don't think I made it tall enough. Okay, good. And like I said, this will just be so that we can get going with this. It takes quite a few resources to make this thing. I probably just went through about 6 stacks of iron getting it all set. So later we'll make it bigger, and we'll actually like make a room to put it in. Alright, so good math on that one. Now we need some vents. So you fill in the outside with heat vents. Oh, man. Did I not make enough heat vents? I probably didn't. I made 8 too few. That's what I did. Let's grab some iron, and it should be relatively easy to do. If I can reach the monitor. Yep. Alright, just enough. And then you put your CPUs and your pattern providers in the middle, and they can go in any fashion. It doesn't really matter as long as they're inside. I think the CPUs look really cool. And then our pattern provider, notice if you click a pattern provider, you can put patterns in here already. You cannot click to interface with a CPU at all. Now, there we have it. We have 4 pages. You have as many pages as you have pattern providers. And I've already made the pattern encoder, which does not need to be connected to the network. And I made a couple of blank patterns as well. So what am I looking for? I think I just used all my cable on the heat vents. Or it's still up in my clipboard. Yep, there it is. So we can just run a cable up here. It connects. It's not a bad idea to also make a crafting monitor. So now we're using 23, which is well within the range of what our biofuel generator will do. Let me see what a crafting monitor, not crafting terminal, crafting monitor. That is a pretty easy one. I think I have enough stuff to make it. Let me grab some glass. Missing a processor. I made an extra conversion matrix. And we'll go ahead and burn a stack of gold on this. I made an extra conversion matrix and didn't realize, what am I missing this stuff? Didn't realize that, am I missing the knife too? Well, that's no good. I didn't realize I was going to need one more, so that is a small oversight on my part. So let's grab a couple of sticks. We can make a cutting knife very quickly. And then I'll go ahead and make about a quarter of a stack of these, or as many materials as we have. Shouldn't take that long to cook them. All right. Where did we go? Crafting monitor. Okay. What this thing does, if you put it on your network, when you go to craft something, it'll tell you what it's crafting and if you're missing any materials. So if we make our pattern encoder, we'll put some patterns in it. Let's find out I don't know if this will work with NEI without actually putting your items in it. Oh, if they changed it so that works, that's going to be excellent. So if we, oh, I don't think it worked. It should show me the item. Let's see. Oh, maybe it is. So if I go to craft one of these, I don't have the stuff in there to make it. See, we're missing quartz, glowstone, and glass. All of which I have on me. So we put them in there. Sometimes it'll hang up even though you put the stuff in. So if you shift left click and cancel it and do it again, it should already be done actually. ME blank pattern. So that's actually really handy. You used to actually have the materials. You had to have the materials. You had to put them in your pattern provider. And that was kind of a pain. So if I wanted to say make, let's do, where's a 4K? Storage. If I want to make the storage segment pattern, let's see, we'll do one for the storage cell. And then we need to do one for the next one up. This makes it a lot easier. The only thing that's different is normally when they're in here, it actually shows you a picture of whatever it is. There, I don't know. Oh, I guess it is. See that how that looks in your inventory, and then when you put it in there. So I guess it is showing the pictures. I just wasn't thinking about it because it's actually a pattern. Oh, that was great. So that's a pretty easy way to encode your patterns. You don't actually have to have the materials anymore, which is really awesome. So let's see if we can craft that. I better just throw like all my AE stuff in the system because I'm going to need it all in there anyway. Did it make it? No, it did not. And actually, if we have the stuff to make that, we should have the stuff to make that. Yep, there we go. One storage segment. Excellent. So now that I've done that, I can make a pattern over here for the whole disk. I'm so glad they changed that. So glad. So I don't really remember what's in a 4K. I think everything that we need is in there. So let's do that. There it is. Pow. So now we have 2 disks, and I've run 2 queries on this thing, and you see it's only taking up a little over half of the disk. So if you're going to filter out a bunch of stuff, like, you know, all the cobble and redstone and everything went to a deep storage unit. That's how I do that. And then I connect these with storage buses. So that's a really good way to do that. Let me see what my time is sitting at. Really hard to tell since I cut for like 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and we'll see what it takes to make a storage bus. Sort of as a demonstration. So I'm going to have to teach it a bunch of patterns. This is a good pattern to teach it because you need that for a lot of stuff, as well as the Fluix dust and everything. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. I'm going to teach this thing all the patterns I need to teach it for all the AE stuff so we can get the system all set up. And then we'll rearrange it a little bit and we'll set up so that if we need a processor for something, like I think a processor goes in the conversion matrix, we'll set it up so that we can automatically make the processor with the cutting knife and cook it, so that it'll do everything on demand if necessary. And then I'll throw all the necessary materials. We have plenty of glass already cooked up. I'll throw all the necessary materials in there, and then we'll move all this stuff somewhere and connect it with storage buses. And then the things that we need to export for like biofuel, what I normally do for that, whoa, if I can fly. That's why I made this extra bioreactor. I put an export bus on this thing and I tell it to send, you know, whatever I want it to send. And since I have like, I don't know, however many saplings in the DSU up there, it'll just pull them out of the DSU and put them in there rather than take up space on a disk. Because this is a lot of stuff. If you have your cobble and everything, almost 1 million, well, 750,000 cobble, that takes up a lot of unnecessary disk space. Same with wood. A ton of wheat. We're going to have to find out something to do with the wheat, apples. We may end up doing some forestry stuff because I know that you can do something with wheat to turn it into mulch and run it through... run it with fruit juice through the fermenter with saplings or something else. I don't remember. I'm not sure about barley. And I found out about this new thing. I don't know if it's in my version. Applied Energistics now has a way to connect to ME systems cross-dimensionally or without cable. and I don't know if the condenser, power relay, energy cell, and stuff is part of it. But there is a way to do that, and I might not have the update. I'm going to have to see what the partition editor does. I know what it sounds like it does, but I don't know what it actually does. And everything else, but I'm not really sure what these things are used for. It might be in the 1.1.3 version of the pack that I don't have. I'm on 1.1.2 right now. So we may have to update. Oh, you just use that for this stuff. Okay. Matter cannon. We might have to check that out as well. I also saw something. It's called quartz glass. And it's not in this version. I don't think. I'll look for it. I doubt it is. Yeah, it's not. Basically what it is, it's this glass, and it looks much like the clear glass, except it has a dark border, and it has a couple of the squiggles, but not nearly as many as this glass does. And then you can make this version of it with glowstone that actually puts off light, and any connecting glass picks it up for a certain number of blocks. So I'll update my pack tonight, even though there's the bug where you can't craft 4 sticks. I don't think that's really going to be a problem for us anymore since, you know, we have a power glove. So we will do that, and then next time we'll get to probably expand the molecular assembler chamber. And if I have time, I'll do some work so that we actually have a nice, pretty room for it. And then we'll hook up all these guys to storage buses. And if we relocate any of this, we'll set up all the machines probably in this room, and or maybe out front, I'm not sure, so that we can start automating everything that we need. Just besides the ores, you know, if you need glass, if you need whatever. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.